February 4th, 2025. Let's get started. The first topic I had today is just NYC apartment hunting. So, a couple years ago, a list came out, and basically it said that New York City is the most expensive city to live in the world. And, the average one bedroom, one bath apartment within the city, I want to say was like $5,200. And in order to rent, one of these apartments, you have to make 40 times monthly rent in gross income. So, if the monthly rent is $5,200, let's round down to 5,000. You need to make 200 grand a year before taxes in order to qualify for that apartment. Okay. Now let's talk about taxes in New York City. So obviously you're paying federal income tax, you're paying Social Security, you're paying Medicare. And then on top of that, New York State has a progressive tax bracket up to 7%, I want to say. And then there's 3% city tax for living in New York City as well. Right? So we have rent and taxes covered. On top of that, sorry, I keep using on top of that. But in addition to that, the allure of New York City, which is, the bars, the nightlife, clubs, top tier restaurants, general shopping for clothes, shoes, etc. The allure of New York City adds up to it, right? Because if you walk through New York City, especially in Manhattan, every single building feels like a shop. It's like that city is built in order to make you spend your money. Okay? And so, with all this being said, what I'm saying is 200,000 gross in New York City is not a lot of money. Like, it's definitely enough money to live, and it's definitely enough money to live comfortably. But you have to be diligent with budgeting and somewhat disciplined, which most Americans are not, right? Like, most Americans have a serious spending problem. We live in a culture of consumerism, etc. Okay. So, what does this have to do with my apartment hunting? Keeping all of this in mind, keeping in mind the fact that I want to enjoy my life, I want to eat out like twice, 3 times a week with my girlfriend, go on nice date nights. Keeping all of this in mind, where I've decided I need to save money is in housing. And so I've been looking for apartments that are less than 3,000, right? And so what can you get for 3,000? For 3,000, you can get a 450 square foot studio deep in the heart of Brooklyn. And even then, you're paying a broker's fee, you're paying a security deposit, and you're competing like crazy with a bunch of other people, right? Because most people can't afford $5,400 apartments. And even if they can afford it, they don't want to pay it. Like, I can afford one, but I don't want to pay $5,200 a month. So basically, finding housing in New York City for one person, no roommates for one person, has been an absolute bitch. The second thing I want to talk about today is self-inflicted pain, and this is sort of a broad topic, and so to clarify, I'm not talking about like people cutting themselves. Instead, I'm talking about the type of self-inflicted pain, such as saying stuff or overscheduling activities. So let's start off with saying stuff. So this guy on my screen, Sean Strickland, he is a UFC fighter, former middleweight champion, but better known to the masses as the most trailer trash UFC fighter. Depending on what side of the bed he woke up on, he just says whatever comes out of his mouth. Sometimes it's good, rational takes stated eloquently, and sometimes it's just absolutely unhinged shit where he talks about like women like they're in the 1800s, or he talks about how he wants to fight and kill people during road rage. Just very unhinged shit, right? And because of this, he gets clowned on the internet, and he gets clowned by the other fighters. It's pretty much self-inflicted. It's like, why does he have to say all this stuff? Is he trying to be edgy? Does he have suppressed trauma? Is he trying to be funny? Don't know. But he comes across as just bad, right? And so he's inflicting pain upon himself because the public is not going to like some of the stuff he's saying. And not just Strickland, but I feel like lots of people do this. Lots of people just open their mouth without thinking and sign up for unnecessary work that causes them regret it. They sign up for unnecessary events that they don't want to go to. And so, like, the lesson I've taken away here, because I'm guilty of this as well, is that I need to start thinking twice before I speak. Otherwise, the feeling of regret is real and it is self-inflicted pain. And then obviously the other form of self-inflicted pain is, common one is just stretching yourself too thin. It's like planning out too many activities with friends, taking on too much work in the office, trying to have too many hobbies. Like you can't run, train for a marathon, lift, learn how to play an instrument, learn a language all at the same time, right? But people set all these goals that they want to do without budgeting the time. It's like, yeah, you may succeed for a week at doing it, you may succeed for a month. But at the end of the day, can you sit there month after month, year in, year out, and adhere to that pact of a schedule? I don't think so. So I think it's better to start out small, even though it hurts to dream small. Start out small and then start building on top of each block that you come up with. So first just carve out time to exercise. Once you've carved out time to exercise and mastered and made that a habit, then you can start carving out time to exercise weights one day and then run another day. And then once you've done that, you can be like, okay, now I'm going to add learning a language on top of that and so on. So I think incrementally building is better because you're developing the base and the foundation that you need in order to be disciplined without stretching yourself too thin and inflicting pain upon yourself.